look how pigmented that is. I just went in twice. Hey everybody, it's Ginny. And today I'm going to be doing a first impressions of one of my favorite brands, Profusion. I have 4 $5 palettes and a $5 lip kit. I have Shimmers, Mattes, Luminizer I, and the Blush and Glow one, as well as the Lips to Go kit in Passion. So let's go ahead and get started. So I went ahead and put on some Whoosh eye stencils to catch any fallout as well as make sure the eyes look even. I'm testing these out for the first time to see how useful they are. So the first shade I'm going to go into is Sugar. I'm using Sugar as a base shadow to blend in the other shadows. So the next shade that I'm going to go into is Unity. So far, I'm finding that these shadows are pigmented enough to do a look with, but nothing too special. These shadows seem to be doing their job, so let's go ahead and try a different color. So the next eyeshadow shade that I'm going to go into is a Fire. I have to say that that color is pretty pigmented and it went on the eyes very well. Now the true test is to see how it blends, but let's finish up the other eye. So next I'm going to blend the crease out with the shade Proud. As you might be able to tell, there is a slight amount of kick up on this, but it's not as dramatic as some of the other palettes I've played with in the past, and for $5 I really don't care. I'm going to go ahead back in with the shade Unity just to add a little bit more color since I went ahead and brought my crease up a little bit more than I had originally intended to. So as much as I love Profusion, I do have to say that it does take a little bit more effort to blend these shadows out. They don't blend as evenly as some of the more expensive eyeshadow palettes that I've worked with, but for $5, I really can't complain with having to spend a little extra time blending out matte eyeshadows. So let's go ahead and try out the shimmer shadows. So the first color that I'm going to go in with on this palette is the shade Atlantis. We're going to try this dry to see how it applies. I have to say that's not too bad for a dry application. So I dug in about 5 times. That seems to give me the intensity that I need to work with. The next shade that I'm going to go in with is Zenith, and I'm just going to take a lid brush to swipe that onto the inner portion of the lid. I'm noticing with these eyeshadow shades, even though I did go in about 4 or 5 times, I didn't really have to dig into them, and I think that the payoff is pretty fantastic, especially considering this is a $5 palette we're talking about. So on top of that, I'm going to go in with the shade Majesty in the center of the lid. So that's going in 4 times, going to build that up again. If you can't tell, I'm more than happy with the way these shimmer shadows are performing. So the only thing I really want to do now besides the inner corner is to just deepen up the crease a little bit because the matte shadows are not performing the way I would hope that they would perform. And so let's go ahead and do that. So I'm just going to go ahead and take the shade Fuse and put that in the outer corner. I'm just going to go ahead and do the inner corner before I put on liner and mascara, and we can finish up the rest of the look. For the inner corner shade, I'm going to go in with Illusion. Now that I've done the liner and mascara, I'm going to go ahead and do the lower lash line very quickly. I'm going to go in with the shade Throne. These shimmer shadows apply so beautifully. Ah, I love them so much. Look how pigmented that is. I just went in twice. Just to finish it up and to play more with these shimmers because I love them so much, we're gonna go in with Destiny. I just went back in with Illusion just to brighten up the inner corner a little bit more. Oh man, I'm really loving these shimmer eyeshadows. They are amazing. And for $5, let's go ahead and see how the blush and the highlighters perform. So the shade Marvel is really catching my eye. I'm going to go in with that blush. So I have to say this blush is a little bit sheerer than I thought it would be. I have to say that's really pretty. It did require a little bit of building, but it builds beautifully. It really does. And it has a beautiful shimmer like shine to it. I'm going to go ahead and go in with one of the highlighters from the other palette and let's see. I'm going to go ahead and apply Fairy Lights to see how that blends with the shade Marvel. Because I can, and I want to see how it looks and plays with some of the other highlights, I'm going to go in with the shade Lightning. I have to say those highlighters blend in together quite nicely. And now onto the lip kit. Let's see if that one is worth it. So to start, I'm going to go ahead and apply this matte lip liner. Now let's top that off with the sparkling lip topper. So this $5 wand, if you can't tell, has a bunch of loose fibers, but it was $5, right? And it came with 3 products, so can't really complain. It's definitely sticky. So for my final thoughts and the items that I liked the best, I am completely smitten with this shimmer palette. I would have spent more than $5 on this. If that's not proof enough that these shadows are just amazing, I don't know what would be. I didn't have to use any setting spray or Fix Plus on them. I applied them dry over primer and they look fantastic. The next two that I really liked, I love the Blush and Glow as well as the Luminizer. I think that they did a really great job in giving that glowy, dewy look. And for $5, doesn't hurt to have another highlighter in your collection, right? Okay, it does, but they're good. They're really good. So for the mattes palette, I thought it was okay. I wasn't blown away by it, but for $5, it's definitely worth the price if you need a matte eyeshadow palette. They blended well enough and they did the job. They're also pigmented. They don't just blend away into nothing. So if you're looking for something, $5. Lastly, with the Lips in the Go kit, I thought the liner was okay. Nothing really to write home about. The matte lip cream, I wasn't a huge fan of the applicator. And as you can probably tell, it's already starting to feather and it doesn't really look all that great. And for the lip topper, while I think that the shade is gorgeous, I wasn't a fan, again, of the applicator in this one. It's rather sticky, which I can get used to. But in combination with these other two, it's not bad for $5, but I would rather spend a little extra and get something that's a little bit more comfortable when it comes to a liquid lip or just lipsticks in general. So overall, I think that all of these products are pretty great. I did have a few issues with the Lips on the Go kit, but again, it was $5, and for $5, I can accept some of the defects that I found in it. Besides, I think that Profusion is definitely improving on their liquid lip formula as well as their liners and their toppers. For 3 of the 4 eyeshadow palettes, I think that they hit a home run and that these are amazing, even beyond $5. And for the mattes, I definitely think it was worth $5. If I didn't have some better mattes in my collection, I probably would go for that palette a lot more than I most likely will. I know I'm a little bit biased when it comes to Profusion, but I mean, the proof is in the pudding. Take a look at these shimmers. That is so pretty. All right, see you guys later.